Hey everyone, I'm here today with an accomplished skydiver. We will be discussing about his amazing skydiving journey. He is among very few Indians who is certified as an instructor in all skydiving progression methods. He is AFF instructor, he is tandem instructor, he is static line instructor as well as IAD instructor. It is my pleasure to introduce Mayank Nagpal, who is accomplished skydiver and base jumper. You know he has performed 1700 plus jumps, out of which 200 jumps are base jumping from various platforms. He has been involved in the training of special forces, para units, as well as foreign armed forces. He has also achieved 6 Indian and Asian skydiving records for base jumping. So I hope you are excited to meet him. We are gonna discuss about skydiving opportunities, career opportunities, basic, how to start solo skydiving and whatnot. The entire conversation has been amazing and I hope you love it, you like it, you share it. So let's ask him about his experience, his introduction, because he is the perfect man to introduce himself.
I am Mayank Nagpal. I am a skydiver, expert, not expert. That is for the audience to decide. But I am a skydiver and a base jumper. I am basically an adventurist to the core. जितने भी आर्मी इंडिया में जितने भी इंडिया में एडवेंचर्स अवेलेबल हैं एज ऑफ डेट मैंने उन सब एडवेंचर्स को एक्सपीरियंस किया है नॉट एज अ वन टाइम थिंग बट एज अ फुल टाइम कोर्स एंड राइट फ्रॉम लैंड एडवेंचर्स टू एरो एडवेंचर्स टू एक्वा एडवेंचर्स सब कुछ ट्राई किया है एंड सब्सिक्वेंटली पिछले 10 साल से अराउंड मैं स्काई डाइविंग कर रहा हूँ अभी मैं एक स्काई डाइविंग इंस्ट्रक्टर हूँ सारी स्काई डाइविंग की जितनी भी इंटरनेशनली अवेलेबल इंस्ट्रक्टर रेटिंग्स होती हैं वो सारी हैं मेरे पास उसके अलावा बेस जंप करता हूँ बेस जंपिंग बेसिकली जिनको नहीं पता वेरी वेरी एक्सट्रीम काइंड ऑफ अ स्पोर्ट base jumping is an acronym for buildings antennas spans and earth buildings antennas spans मतलब bridges earth मतलब cliffs सो उससे जंप करना विद सिंगल पैराशूट सिस्टम थोड़ा सा एक्सट्रीम स्पोर्ट है कंपैरेटिव टू स्काई डाइविंग वो भी करता हूँ मैं साथ में एंड ओवरऑल मेरी अराउंड 1500 प्लस स्काई डाइविंग जंप्स हैं और उसके अलावा अराउंड 200 प्लस अराउंड बेस जंप्स हैं इंटरनेशनल इवेंट्स में कभी कभी पार्टिसिपेट करता रहता हूँ बेस जंपिंग में एंड अराउंड 6 एशियन टोटल मिला के 6 एशियन लिम्का एंड नेशनल रिकॉर्ड्स हैं सो दैट्स इट थोड़ा सा
थोड़ा
इंट्रोडक्शन
सा सर बहुत कुछ का आपने स्काई डाइविंग में बहुत कुछ किया है आई मीन मैंने सिर्फ 200 जंप किए तो आई आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड कि आपने कितना अचीव किया ये फील्ड में बट नेक्स्ट मेरा क्वेश्चन लाइक माय नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज अ लिटिल बिट स्ट्रेंज सो इज इट लाइक स्काई डाइविंग इज योर वर्क और हॉबी
इट स्टार्टेड एज अ हॉबी लॉन्ग बैक बिकॉज करना चाहते थे मन की इच्छा थी कि देखा कहीं पे एक्सपोजर उस टाइम पे कम होता था काफ़ी पिछले 2010 के बाद की बात कर रहा हूँ मैं 10 11 12 एक्सपोजर इतना नहीं था इतना सोशल मीडिया एक्टिव नहीं था सो हमें पता नहीं चलता था कि ये ऐसा स्पोर्ट करना कैसे है होता है ये इवेंचुअली पता चल गया था धीरे धीरे बट करना कैसे है उसको परस्यू कैसे करना है सो इट स्टार्टेड एज अ हॉबी कि करना है बट देन सब्सिक्वेंटली इट बिकेम अ पैशन so I became passionate about it because first jump I did I remember way back in 2010 12 तो मैं उस टाइम पे टू बी वेरी वेरी फ्रैंक आई वाज 28 years old आई स्टिल रिमेंबर एंड मैंने उस टाइम पे जंप किया और मैंने बोला सोचा अपने दिमाग में कि यार ये 18 years के बाद ऑफिशियली पीपल आर अलाउड टू डू अ स्काई डाइव एंड आई एम डूइंग द फर्स्ट जंप एट 28 मैंने कहा मैंने अपने 10 साल वेस्ट कर दिए लाइफ के 10 साल आई वेस्टेड दैट इज व्हाट द थॉट केम इन माय माइंड व्हेन आई वाज अंडर माय पैराशूट इन द फर्स्ट जंप एंड दैट्स व्हेन आई डिसाइडेड कि ये परस्यू करना है एंड दिस हैज टू बी परस्यूड वेरी वेरी सीरियसली एंड वेरी वेरी सिस्टमैटिकली so I started exploring I started looking for options and that's how my journey began
wow एंड नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन लाइक ये सारे क्वेश्चंस आई ऑलवेज गेट इन माय डीएम्स सो वही क्वेश्चंस आई लाइक मैंने साथ में बनाए लिस्ट बना दिया आपके लिए कि सब मुझसे पूछते हैं वही क्वेश्चन मैं आपसे पूछती हूँ So my next question is, आपको हमेशा से स्काई डाइवर बनना था?
नहीं, ये तो ऐसे मैंने बोला, मुझे पता ही नहीं था कि स्काई डाइविंग क्या होता है पहले तो। कि अच्छा, इस स्पोर्ट को ये पैराशूट लेके जंप करते हैं हेलीकॉप्टर या एरोप्लेन से, उस स्पोर्ट को स्काई डाइविंग बोलते हैं, ये पता चल गया। बट हमेशा से स्काई डाइवर नहीं बनना था। बट यस, हमेशा से मैं बहुत अट्रैक्टेड रहता था बचपन से ही। इनफैक्ट मेरे मॉम डैड भी एग्री करेंगे इस बात पे, मैं स्पोर्ट्स में बहुत ज़्यादा एक्टिव था, एक्चुअली ओवर एक्टिव था। I was into sports right from my childhood, and I was into sports school teams. मैंने बहुत सारे sports स्टेट लेवल तक खेले। मैंने फुटबॉल खेला, मैंने बैडमिंटन खेला, टेबल टेनिस खेला, स्विमिंग किया स्टेट लेवल तक। सो आई वाज अ गुड एथलीट. So in my school also I was a very good athlete, and that's how, from that shift from that sports to adventure was not very difficult. एंड फर्स्टली एज 90% एडवेंचरिस का यही होता है कि पहला जो एक्सपोजर मिलता है एडवेंचर के अंदर वो माउंटेनरिंग मिलता है यूजुअली, बिकॉज यू सी इट मोर, द एक्सपोजर इज मोर. So mountaineering was the first adventure sports which attracted me, and I pursued the basic mountaineering course. I did some 2-3 mountaineering expeditions, 6,000 meter peaks and all. उसके बाद धीरे धीरे और एक्सप्लोर करना स्टार्ट किया कि और क्या कर सकते हैं. स्कूबा डाइविंग किया. आई एम अ रेस्क्यू स्कूबा डाइवर फ्रॉम पैडी ऑल्सो. आई हैव डन अराउंड 50 स्कूबा डाइव्स. सम एडिशनल हाइक्स आई डिड. राफ्टिंग की मैंने स्कीइंग की. सो सारे एडवेंचर्स एक्सप्लोर किए, और धीरे धीरे फाइनली आके दी नीडल स्टक एट एरोस्पोर्ट्स. उसके अंदर पहला एक्सपोजर मुझे स्काई डाइविंग का मिला. आई वाज लकी, and that's how I started my skydiving journey. So as the question was कि हमेशा से ही पता नहीं था, but eventually वहाँ पे आके my it got into sync. My heart and my mind got into sync, and that's how I started skydiving.
Wow. I guess आपने मेरे next 2 questions भी इसी में cover कर लिए, तो I'm gonna skip that question कि आपको क्या कैसे inspire किया, आपकी skydiving journey कैसे रही. So people think जो मुझे queries आती है, they think about कि लोगों को हमेशा से पैदा होने के साथ ही स्काई डाइविंग करनी होती है. It doesn't work like that, and वही वो मेरा स्टोरी है. एंड नाउ आपका स्टोरी सुनने के बाद मुझे भी ऐसा ही लग रहा है कि वो कॉमन स्टोरी रहता है कि सबको इवेंचुअली पता चलता है कि उन्हें स्काई डाइविंग करनी है. मेरे लिए ये था कि मैंने जब टैंडम जंप किया उसके बाद मुझे पता था कि मुझे ये करना है. टैंडम जब तक मुझे सिर्फ टैंडम जंप पे रुक जाना था, उसके आगे नहीं करना था. बट एक बार जो टैंडम जंप कर लिया, खुद को रोक नहीं पाए ये फील्ड में आने से. So
yeah, basically what we say in the civil parlance is कि that bug bit you once you did the tandem jump. वो कीड़ा जो काटा वो tandem jump के टाइम काट लिया, and it stuck. That's how that inquisitiveness and that seriousness for doing the sport or progressing the sport came. So skydiving की journey मेरे लिए 2012 में start हुई, as I said, and जब वो स्टार्ट हुई, व्हेन आई डिड माय फर्स्ट जंप, उसके बाद इमीडिएटली आई डिसाइडेड कि बड़ी ए लाइसेंस लेना है. माय फर्स्ट स्टेप, एंड आई वाज वेरी क्लियर इन माय माइंड कि ए लाइसेंस लेना है और जल्दी से जल्दी लेना है. वाई? बिकॉज एज एन एडवेंचरिस्ट, बिकॉज उससे पहले भी मैंने काफ़ी ज़्यादा लाइसेंसेस, काफ़ी ज़्यादा कोर्सेज किए हुए हैं. आई हैव डन, उससे पहले आई हैड ऑलरेडी डन बेसिक राफ्टिंग, आई हैड डन बेसिक स्कीइंग, बेसिक माउंटेनरिंग. सो सारे फील्ड में, लैंड में, एरो में थोड़ा थोड़ा एक्सपोजर था. सो ये तो क्लैरिटी थी कि लेना सर्टिफिकेशन है. अब स्काई डाइविंग का सर्टिफिकेशन, द फर्स्ट सर्टिफिकेशन इज द ए लाइसेंस. सो दैट्स हाउ आई डिसाइडेड कि ए लाइसेंस लेना है. अब वो कैसे लेना है, कहाँ लेना है, वाज द सब्सिक्वेंट questions which I asked myself and got the answers to while I explored it on the internet. But clarity ये आ गई थी कि 2012 में कि A license तो ले लेना है. और once I took the A license, बाहर जाके दुबई से लिया था मैंने A license. दुबई जाके मैंने A license लिया, तो वहाँ पे थोड़ा और exposure मिला. I spoke to other people, and that's how this skydiving journey began.
Amazing. सबका जो भी इंडिया में रह के स्काई डाइवर्स बने हैं, सबने आउट ऑफ इंडिया जाके मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम लाइसेंस लिया है. यहाँ पे कोई रहा ही नहीं हमारे पास ऑप्शन. तो अभी हम लेट्स टॉक अबाउट योर प्रोफेशन, नॉट प्रोफेशन, आपके पास बहुत सारे रेटिंग्स हैं, आपके पास सारे रेटिंग्स है सर। एज अ स्काई डाइवर आई नो कि आपके पास ऑलमोस्ट सारे रेटिंग्स है। एक क्वेश्चन था कि कॉमन व्हाट इज द कॉमन मिथ अबाउट बीइंग अ स्काई डाइविंग इंस्ट्रक्टर, जो सबसे ज्यादा आपको सुनने को मिलता है, बट दैट्स नॉट ट्रू एट ऑल। Me and they think that okay, being skydiver instructor is amazing job, ट्रैवलिंग करना मिलता है, पर्क्स मिलते हैं, डिफरेंट कंट्रीज में जाने को मिलता है, सैलरी मिलती है, बहुत ज़्यादा पैसे अर्न करने को मिलता है। दीज आर द क्वेरीज आई गेट। बट आपके हिसाब से क्या है कि व्हाट आर द कॉमन मिथ्स आपके हिसाब से?
सो कॉमन मिथ्स जो है वो ये है कि ट्रैवल करने को मिलता है, बट ऑब्वियसली यू कांट बी स्विचिंग। इट्स इवेंचुअली, इफ इन केस यू बिकम एन इंस्ट्रक्टर एंड यू डू अ जॉब एज एन इंस्ट्रक्टर, you will have to stay put at a drop zone and train in the drop zone. So travel करने को मिलेगा, but एक drop zone तक मिलेगा. Let's say I go to Dubai, I go to Thailand, I go to Spain, I go to US. So मैं उनमें से एक drop zone choose करूँगा. I'll go there and I'll start to work as an instructor. I'll be going to the drop zone and working in the drop zone. So as far as the travel is concerned, the travel will finish till that country. Let's say I go to the US, मैं US तक travel करूँगा और वो travel finish हो जाएगा. It won't happen कि मैं हर हफ्ते या हर 15 दिन में, हर महीने I'm traveling to different places for doing instructional duties in skydiving. As a personal thing, I can go, I can do jumps, I can do fun jumps, but as far as the skydiving instructor job is concerned, I will be in the drop zone. And as all other jobs demand, everything else is the same in this job also. You have to be very professional, you have to be courteous, you have to have the skill to deal with people and all the other things. So job agar mil jati hai aapko as a skydiving instructor, so you will go to a drop zone and you will work in that drop zone, and you would want that organization, that drop zone also would want that some stability from your end. So it can't happen कि तो आपने एक महीना जॉब किया और अगले महीने आप दूसरी ड्रॉप जोन पे चले गए. It doesn't work like that. So you will work for at least 1 season, 2 seasons in that drop zone. 1 season would mean an year or so in the civil parlance. तो 1 साल, 1.5 साल, 2 साल आप काम करेंगे उस ड्रॉप जोन में, थोड़ा सा एक्सपीरियंस लेंगे, थोड़ा सा उनको आपके ऊपर विश्वास आएगा, थोड़ा सा आपको पता चलेगा कि उस इंस्ट्रक्शनल ड्यूटीज़ के अंदर क्या क्या एडिशनल रिक्वायरमेंट्स हैं. एज फार एज द इंस्ट्रक्शनल रेटिंग लेना एक अलग बात है, और उस रेटिंग को एक स्टूडेंट को ट्रेन करना, एक स्टूडेंट को रेडी करना ए लाइसेंस के लिए, वो बहुत बड़ी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है. और वो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी देने के लिए जब आप रेडी होते हैं तभी आपको यूएसपी वो लाइसेंस देता है, वो रेटिंग देता है. एज फार एज आई एम कंसर्न, मेरे पास स्टैटिक लाइन इंस्ट्रक्टर रेटिंग है, मेरे पास आईडी इंस्ट्रक्टर रेटिंग है, मेरे पास टैंडम इंस्ट्रक्टर रेटिंग है, मेरे पास एएफएफ इंस्ट्रक्टर रेटिंग है, एंड मेरे पास प्रोफेशनल एग्जीबिशन प्रो रेटिंग बोलते हैं जिसको, वो रेटिंग भी है. सो 4 इंस्ट्रक्शनल रेटिंग और एक प्रोफेशनल एग्जीबिशन रेटिंग, जो कि एज फार एज दी इंस्ट्रक्शनल रेटिंग का कॉलम होता है स्काई डाइविंग यूएसपीए के चार्ट में, यही सारी रेटिंग्स अवेलेबल होती हैं. और मेरा बहुत क्लियर था व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड स्काई डाइविंग इन इंडिया, ये दिस वर्ड वाज देयर कि हमारे पास इंडिया में कोई इंस्ट्रक्टर नहीं है. एवरीबडी इज वांटिंग टू गो अब्रॉड एंड ट्रेन अब्रॉड, स्पेंड सो मच मनी of hard earned money, spend so much time and energy looking for a good instructor, looking for a good drop zone. So then I eventually thought ki, now that you have the skill, you have the expertise, you have the confidence, might as well go and try and get the instructor rating. AFF instructor rating, as everybody, some of you would be aware, is the most difficult instructor rating to get in skydiving ever. मतलब of all the ratings, आप examiner भी बन जाओगे, आप टैंडम ले लोगे, एएफएफ रेटिंग बहुत डिफिकल्ट रेटिंग है, एंड राइटली सो, क्योंकि स्टूडेंट की लाइफ आपके हैंड्स में, एंड द ओनर्स ऑफ मेकिंग दैट स्टूडेंट फ्रॉम अ डिसेंटली ओके स्काईडाइवर टू अ ग्रेट स्काईडाइवर इज इन योर हैंड्स. So that onus is being given by the USPA to you. That's why AFF rating is the most difficult instructor rating to get. So after I got the AFF rating, I was very very positive, very happy कि at least अभी option, at least as far as the instructor availability is concerned, वो option available है इंडिया के अंदर कि instructor के लिए किसी को at least बाहर नहीं जाना पड़ेगा. Then secondary issues are there, availability of a drop zone, of an aeroplane, and which will eventually be solved. I hope so. We are very positive about it.
Yeah, all of us
But
are very positive.
But that void of instructors not being available in India for training, at least I thought that I will be able to fill that void once I get the rate.
Right. And I guess people think that being an instructor is just like another instructor, but the skydiving instructor, I think कि आपके पास एक किसी के life का responsibility भी रहता है when you are AFF instructor, and it's a very like a heavy, I'll say a very heavy responsibility compared to अगर college के professors है एंड स्काई डाइविंग के इंस्ट्रक्टर है, दोनों को कंपेयर नहीं कर सकते, जो बहुत डिफरेंट हो जाता है। एक के हाथ में करियर रहता है और हमारे हाथ में उनके लाइफ की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी रहती है। सो पीपल थिंक ओनली अबाउट लाइक व्हाट दे विल गेट, वो नहीं समझ में आता कि उनका रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी कितना बढ़ जाता है व्हेन दे बिकम अ इंस्ट्रक्टर। सो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज कि आप व्हाट्स द मोस्ट रिवॉर्डिंग पार्ट अबाउट लाइक टीचिंग स्काई डाइविंग टू लाइक पीपल?
The most rewarding part is the smile after they land. That satisfaction of the student, because when once you make them jump and then they land and then they come and meet you and thank you, and they greet you and you thank them. I remember my first jump again. I always go back to my first jump as a student, and I remember कि मुझे क्या लग रहा था, how I was so elated, I was so happy. That happiness was not fake, that was coming from within. Your entire body was you behaving the way a child behaves, bubbling with energy. So I always say that satisfaction you get after teaching somebody how to skydive is the most rewarding thing actually.
Yes. That's a perfect answer. And as an Indian, and then we are like in this skydiving field, what are the unique challenges you faced as a skydiver?
Challenges have been many. Unique क्या मतलब सारे unique ही हैं. For skydivers, all challenges are unique only because the goal is the same, but everybody's stories is different. Somebody comes from a very humble background. Somebody has issues. Some people have issues convincing their parents कि it is very very safe. कुछ नहीं होगा मुझे, because perception is very very different as far as the Indian society is concerned. Perception of a skydiver or skydiving is very very different. It is improving as social media is percolating in the society, but as I said, challenges are different for everybody. For me, again, the set of challenges were very very unique. You have to manage everything, right from your finances to your family to your leaves to your travels to convincing your parents. So as I said, it is not easy, but once you have decided in your head that it has to be done, I feel that you will find ways and means to overcome all those challenges. Like anybody can do it. Point being that it is not, if in case you have decided in your head, anybody can do it. I tell my students and I tell others also whom I keep meeting, I call them the 5 P's. I devise a method कि इन 5 P's को याद रखना. First P being passion. If in case you have the passion, passion is important. Second is perseverance. लगे रहो उस काम के ऊपर, लगे रहोगे तो हो जाएगा. Most important is the perseverance part. Third is the planning. Fourth is the practice, and fifth is the patience.
Right. Though I was
Yeah.
expecting
So
one more piece
you keep
here. Pricing.
pricing. So pricing is part of planning. Planning के अंदर financial planning, your fitness planning, everything is that part of that planning, and financial planning is as part of that planning subhead is the most important part. Probably the second most important part after perseverance. Passion तो सबका हो जाता है. मेरा passion है आज. Passion dies over a period of time. If in case you are not able to fuel that passion, it dies over a period of time. Perseverance, as I said, is very very important, because अगर वो attitude है कि नहीं लगे रहना मैंने, तो you will be able to achieve it. But लगे रहना, perseverance has to be dovetailed, has to be clubbed with financial planning and majorly financial planning, because this sport is not very cheap. In fact, it's a decently expensive sport, right from travel to jumps to equipment to maintenance, to skill level building. Everything is very very costly to your own gear. So that financial planning is an important aspect, and it can be done. Believe you me, it can be done. It has been done. We have live examples in front of me. Shweta is a great example. If in case you do the planning well, you can achieve wonders.
Definitely. I can see you have spent a lot of years in this industry. You must have seen a lot of people do it and pursue the skydiving despite being like in financial difficult situation. Your like experience, you have spent a lot of years in this skydiving field, and I want to know, like I entered this sport in 2018, but you have spent like more than 10 years. What changed during this 10-12 years, like in skydiving community, in like skydiving in India, and and even globally? What changed in this sport, extreme sport?
The first thing I would like to say which changed was the exposure of the sport to the general population, especially in India. 2012, I used to tell people, oh, I skydive. People used to think, oh, acha, you must have done a tandem. US में आपने की होगी एक one off. Then I used to tell them, no, I do it as a passion. I've got 50 jumps, I've got 100 jumps, I've got 200 jumps. So people used to be amazed. यार तो मतलब तूने घर नहीं लिया, तूने गाड़ी नहीं ली. Why are you spending money on sky? So that perception of the population has changed. Why? Because the younger generation has stepped up, and rightly so. The expectation of the younger generation from life has changed. As I used to say, our parents' generation used to live in कि रोटी कपड़ा मकान हो जाना चाहिए. But our generation and the younger generation have changed, have amended their thought process. That perception of life has changed. They want to be happy. They want to do stuff which they like. They don't want to only become doctors, engineers, and CAs and accountants and lawyers. They want to become chefs. They want to become skydivers. They want to become athletes. They want to do play athletics. They want to play football. So that perception in the society, especially in India, has changed. As far as abroad is concerned, sky is also not the limit for the sport per se. As far as the global community is concerned, you have seen so many records being built up. You have seen so many new things being done. XRW being introduced, speed skydiving coming up, wingsuits have picked up. So and I'm really really happy to see all these changes in the last 10 odd years I've been in the sport. I have seen and I've met so few of the most amazing individuals I've met in my life in skydiving, in drop zones, and highly experienced people who are very very down to earth. I've seen instructors who have 28,000, 30,000 jumps, and you can easily talk to them and connect with them.
Yes.
That's the beauty of the sport probably.
Yes, my experience has been the same. I met so many instructors and so many world record holders, and they are so amazing people and easily accessible when we are at the drop zone. I don't think in any other field it's possible, but with skydiving,
Totally.
it's really very easy to meet people who holds like so many world records and still they are accessible.
Yeah.
And let's get back to the like major like student aspects, because all of this live and recording is for them because they want to enter the sport and they have a lot of questions. So let's I want to start with the advice. Okay, let's say someone wants to do skydiving. What will be your first few advice for him, like if he wants to become a skydiver?
The first advice is firstly make up your mind that you really want to be into it. For to do that, obviously you'll be doing a tandem jump. So if in case you really like the jump, you want to pursue it, do your homework. Do your homework as far as choosing a drop zone is concerned. Do your homework as far as choosing a season is concerned, and do your homework as far as fueling your passion is concerned in terms of money. So management, that financial management being an important aspect. So once you have planned the entire thing, then you decide that yes, I want to go, I want to, let's say, do an A license, or I want to do a B license, or I want to take a coach rating, or whatever you want to do.
Okay.
So point being, do your homework pretty well, take guidance from experienced individuals. Everybody's journey is different, as I said. So, and your journey also will be different. You may not be able to do 100 skydives in one trip. You may be only be able to do 5, 7, 10, 20, and let that be. It's okay. You are not competing with anyone else. You are just competing with your own self. That's the best part about this sport. You are not competing with a individual, the next skydiver who's jumping along with you. You have to compete with yourself. You have to be better in the sport, and you are your own best judge. So, with having said that, so there's no rush, there's no hurry. Initially, what happens is people go, and they go with a preset notion in the mind ki, अच्छा इस बार जा रहा हूँ ना, इस बार मैं 50 जंप मार के आऊँगा.
Yes.
Without realizing, maybe God has other plans, whether you have no control on. There would be other things maybe happening in the Dropzone. There may be a competition happening. You may be doing only 35 jumps. So be it. It's okay. So be flexible, be open about it, and plan well.
Yes. Even I would like to add some points here, because as we are discussing about advice, there are some people who wants to do skydiving but they don't have the financial planning. So I got this amazing call a week ago. He wants to do skydiving. I asked him a few basic questions like how will you manage everything, and he said that in Instructor I have a saving of 2 lakh rupees. I'm planning to take a loan of 2.5 lakh rupees, and that will be enough. As you said that skydiving will in Thailand will cost you 4 lakh or something like that. And I was like, I just got angry. I was like, you can't do that. You can't do skydiving on borrowed money. You can't like take loan and do skydiving, because it's not a one-time thing. You need to, like, if you want to become a skydiver, then you will aim for A license, then B license, then C license. It's a continuous process. So that's it. If you plan your budget first and then think about skydiving, it doesn't work the other way around. And I'm just with this interview and everything, I want to send this clear message to everyone that if your finances are not sorted, please don't think about skydiving, because it's gonna be really expensive. As you spend more time in skydiving, it's gonna be really, really expensive. That's what happened with me, and that's
So
why.
just
Yes, sir.
Well, yeah, to totally agree on that. And just to add on, as I initially also said in the discussion, that skydiving is an adequately expensive sport. Just to give you some just for a context, a skydiving parachute in India costs around 8 to 10 lakhs.
Yes.
Getting it to India with all the customs duties and everything. A skydiving helmet, a normal skydiving helmet or an altimeter, cost to the tune of 50-60,000 rupees. A skydiving jump, initial jump, costs around 25-30,000 rupees with two instructors, two AFF instructors. Subsequently, also a skydiving jump, only the jump fee is around 3,000 rupees on an average, 2,500 to 3,000. With the equipment, it costs around 5-6,000 rupees per jump. And you will not go there and do one jump. You will eventually end up doing 20, 10, 20, 30 jumps. So if in case you don't have a stable means of income or stable means of fueling this sport, you will be in trouble. Doing skydiving on loan is totally not advisable, for sure. On loan money, or on taking a loan from personal loan from a bank, totally no from my end. But if in case you have a stable source of income, and you know how to do your savings well, you know how to manage your money. I do. I always keep telling and advising people on financial management for skydiving also. It's just like normal financial management. You want to fuel skydiving, you keep the 20% aside, or you keep the 10% of your salary aside. So if in case you have a stable source of income and you're saving monthly, once in 1 year, you can easily take a skydiving trip abroad.
Definitely.
Yeah. But then you have to, balance it well, and you have to be very, very financially very, very disciplined about it.
Yes.
If in case you are supposed to save, let's say 10 grand a month or 20 grand a month for your skydiving trip or your skydiving goal, so you might as well save those 20 grand and then, uh, you know, do the rest of the stuff with the balance amount. You can't be, using that 20K in a month or for the 2 months, and the third month you wake up and you say, oh, I just, did not save those 2020, that is 40 grands, and now let me just start with it, and I want to go skydiving in the next 4 5 months. That may not happen because travels are expensive, so is the visa, so is costs of staying, boarding, lodging, and obviously the skydiving jump and coaching is very, 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 very expensive. You want to, let's say, attain an A license, or if in case you already have an A license, you want to attain a B license, you'll have to do additional courses. You'll have to do water training. You'll have to do canopy course. So everything adds on. Everything is, it is additional money. So as I said, plan it well and do your maths, and then jump into the sport.
What are the career choices available after USPA-A license?
Career choices available after USPA-A license.
A
Uh,
license.
Very, very few, but then there are some available. Firstly, you can do you know jobs in the drop zone, such as do some manifest jobs. You can get into packing. That is the main packing job, though that's not a it's not a certified kind of a thing, in my opinion. You should only get into the main parachute. The main You should get into the main parachute packing career option if in case you are ready to live off the drop zone.
Yes.
You can get into manifest, you can get into video editing for tandems. So career options are many after A license, but in the skydiving, pure skydiving sports part of it, probably not many. You would not surely be teaching skydiving to anybody after A license, because you yourself are at that learning curve. uh, so that's as far as the A license career choices after A licenses are concerned. Those were the options, as I said.
Okay. So, and according to you, like, because skydiving is expensive sport at the end, so is there any option for earning in skydiving, and like any easy way to earn money from skydiving?
Easy.
I honestly know that's a stupid question because I have been in this field for 4 years. But these are the question I get, and I have been answering those questions. But I am not an instructor, or I don't have any ratings at all. So I think that your opinion here matters the most because you have been in this field. आप सिखा रहे हो, आपके पास सारे ratings है. So आपका एक opinion बहुत matter करता है to guide those who wants to enter this field. So इसीलिए अर्निंग पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से आई वांट टू नो ये कि आप क्या सोचते हो.
Well, in my opinion, as I said, if in case you want to earn, you will have to live off the drop zone. मतलब आपको drop zone पे ही रहना पड़ेगा. आपको वहीं पे काम करना पड़ेगा. उस काम में you majorly can do, as I said, manifest duties. You can help in the drop zone. You can do some other small jobs here and there. You can do main parachute packing. After an A license, you get the hang of the sport. Ki, how does the parachute function, and also if in case you want, you can get into the rigging side of parachuting as well. You can try and become a senior rigger, wherein you will be certified to pack reserves and get paid for it. As far as my opinion is concerned, if in case you want to focus on the sport per se, I would not recommend you getting into packing initially. Because packing is a tedious job, and it takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of effort to become a good packer, and it's not highly paying. Each main pack job is around $8 9 in the US. So you can convert it into rupees, or you can convert it into equivalent euros or oblique dirhams depending on the country, but it's this is the industry standard mota mota. So around, each packing is around 700 rupees in the Indian parlance. Each main packing 500 to 700 rupees per pack job. That's the US rate. If in case you convert it in and get it into the, the Indian scenario, it may come out to, let's say, if in case you getting a job in India as a main packer, you might be getting 300 rupees a day, a pack job, correction. Coming on to manifest part of it, you can be into manifest. You can do office job in the drop zone. You can do video editing in the drop zone, because there's a lot of editing which is supposed to be done for tandem videos. You're supposed to, once somebody does a tandem video, you are supposed to make a small clip out of it, a video out of it, and then give it to the individual. So that can also be a career choice, but again, they are not very highly paying. And if in case you wanted to get into skydiving for the sports part of it, for the skydiving part of it, you might not be, able to do skydiving that much. Obviously you will be able to do it much better than somebody who's not in the on the drop zone. You'll be able to do, let's say, on the weekend 3 4 5 jumps, during the weekdays maybe another 2 3 4 jumps. You will gain experience for sure, but you might not be, focusing on the skydiving part of the sport. You would be probably be just supporting the drop zone per se.
Okay.
So if in case you give me 2 more minutes, I'll explain to you. In a drop zone, the main operation is the skydiving operation. Wherein an aeroplane is flying, and you pay tickets to get inside an aeroplane. So that's one part of the operation, the flying operation, the aeroplane flying operation. Second part is the skydiving training operation, wherein people are training you for into skydiving, or other skills like free flying, wingsuit flying, or they're coaching you or something like that. So that's the other part of the operation. So one is the flying part, that is the aeroplane part of it. Second is the skydiving part of it. Then the balance is the support part of it. Accounts, manifest, packing, very important jobs, but not mainstream. So if in case you are ready to live off the drop zone, and you have no issue living that life, you can do that totally. So those options are available. In my opinion, had I been there, I might not have taken those options, because as I said, everybody's journey is different, but those options are available. Point B.
Right. So next question is not was not on my list of questions, but अभी आपसे बात करके I thought that I should ask this question. आपने बोला कि ये options available है. How do people contact drop zones to get such jobs?
So there's no consolidated or stipulated resource or website available to contact drop zones. You'll have to go to a drop zone or contact drop zones on their normal email inquiry emails and ask for jobs, or you can look on Facebook, some job groups availability. But there also people might not be updating jobs, because skydiving per se is especially in countries like the US, there's so many drop zones available. All, let's say there are around 200 drop zones in the US available, all might not be putting their requirements online. So eventually, if in case you want to get into it, you will have to physically go to a drop zone and ask around.
Right.
And same would be the case in bigger drop zones, let's say Skydive Dubai, or bigger drop zones in the US like Elsinore or Paris. So the larger drop zones might be putting it online as far as their requirement for jobs and all is concerned. So there you can go and check out, but then there's no central resource available to check for skydiving jobs, so as to say.
Yes, exactly. There is no Naukri.com available for skydivers.
Basically. And again, if in case you are an instructor, or you are into coaching into specific disciplines of skydiving, your first part is your knowledge and your skills. Second part is your PR also. That also really helps in the sport. People if in case they know you that XYZ individual Mayank Nagpal is a good instructor. He has done instructional ratings, and over and above those ratings, he has done lot of AFF jumps, and he's helped students achieve their goals. So then that word of mouth also carries. Yeah.
So as you said that packing is also one of the options, but even I know a little about packing. So how someone becomes a packer? Like I know there's a specific certification for that as well. But what is the exact process to become a packer?
So, as far as the main parachute packing is concerned, there is no certification. Every skydiver is supposed to, before the A license exam, everybody does it. Everybody is supposed to know the main parachute packing, and supposed to, before the A license, do one pack job of their own and jump that pack job. Like pack their own parachute and jump from that same parachute. That's the part of the A license exam. It's a prerequirement to be done before you get the A license. So as far as packing as a job is concerned, there is no certification, no course for main parachute packing per se. You learn from only from experience, and for getting a job again, you have to go to the drop zones, tell them that you want to become a packer. Nowadays, it is not encouraged also in a lot of drop zones in the US, because the packing part of the skydiving is controlled by the FAA, and that's why if in case you want to learn rigging, you want to become a senior rigger, your licensing is done through the FAA, which is a government body in the US which controls all the airspace. Why? Because they say how a skydiving parachute is packed will it will control how safe their skies are, and that's why the Federation of Aviation, their federation, like the DGC in India, is FA in the US, controls the parachute packing person. So they don't really encourage main parachute packers in a drop zone. As far as reserve parachute packing is concerned, which is done by a senior rigger or a master rigger, that is a certified course, and a certification is given for that, again by the government only, not by USPA. So that's a different process altogether. Main parachute packing, you will find locals doing main parachute packing there and charging money. Uh, but then that is an arrangement between you and that individual. So the drop zone doesn't support it. It is your choice that you are taking that services of that packer and you're paying that individual in cash. And that happens in almost all drop zones. It is not mandated. It is not supported by USP.
Okay. So, like for the student, like packing, parachute packing, there are dedicated packers at the drop zones. Are they riggers or are they like just
They
someone who's
are
experienced?
supposed to be certified senior riggers at least. Anybody packing a student
Okay.
parachute is supposed to be an instructor or a certified rigger. So, and either way, in a drop zone, a certified rigger is supposed to be in location uh, when others are packing, especially when tandems are being packed. So, a certified rigger is supposed to be on site, physically present, and supervising the pack jobs.
Mm.
If not personally packing, for sure supervising the pack jobs.
Person. Perfect. So that was like question. I couldn't find the perfect answer. I asked it everyone that for main we learn to pack it main parachute. But during my Russia trip, one of my Indian friend wanted to become a packer at that drop zone, and they told him specifically that you don't have enough packing experience, and the second thing is that right now we can't hire you, though you can gain experience and everything, but right now we can't hire you because like again you don't have that kind of experience. We need a person, people with certain experience in this thing.
Correct.
So he really pushed it. He really asked everyone at the drop zone, even the drop zone owner, but nothing worked out. And then they asked him that do packing for 2-3 months here, like get used to it, and then we'll think about giving you a job.
Yeah.
So that's how it turned out for him. But even like for us students, like USPA licensed, even licensed skydiver, they think that packing is easy. They can enter it any day. But I don't think, as you said, I don't think that's the
So
case.
packing is a very special kind of a skill, and you learn, as you said, with experience, and you get better at it with experience. There are steps to it. You can't afford to miss even one step in packing. I'm talking right now. I'm talking about the main parachute packing. You're not supposed you can't even afford to miss one step, because that can result in an emergency and deployment of a reserve. So that's why people don't really encourage taking packers just like that. They see your performance, they see your packing skills, they see your consistency, and they see your dedication. And that's why probably the drop zone owners told your friend that please work here for 2-3 months, then we'll think about it.
Yes, right. And my next question, you already discussed that how much packers earn. I guess packer earns based on per packing, and not there is no salary based in the packing thing.
So there's none. If in case you are, let's say, employed by the drop zone for, let's say, packing tandems only. So then, if in case you are an employee of the drop zone, which might not be the case 99% of the time, because uh, there are individuals available who are instructors and willing to pack as well. If in case they are not doing jumps, they can pack. Or if in case you happen to be one of those individuals who is packing tandems only in a drop zone, which majorly is a tandem drop zone, then you would be getting around on an average 11 to $12 for a tandem pack, which is a bigger parachute, around 370 square feet, which is around let's say 1,000 rupees for one pack in the Indian parlance. But if in case get those tandem drop zone to India, you might not be getting 1,000 rupees here. You may end up getting 400-500 rupees for a tandem job, because the cost of living difference is there. There, a tandem job, you getting $12. A normal pack job is around $8, $9, $10. And that has increased over the years, but not much. I remember in 2012, 2013, a main packer in the US was getting $7. And I recently went last year, he was getting $8-9. So over the last 10 odd years, the packing services has increased only by $1, $2. That's it. So not a marginal increase in the packing services you pay to the packer. So not a very lucrative job, so as to and but very responsible job. If in case somebody wants to get into it, uh, they have to live off the drop zone. You have to eat there, you have to live with them, you have to prove that you are dedicated enough, and obviously you have to get better at packing. You can't take a one pack job. A normal individual takes, let's say, 40 minutes to do a main parachute pack. A parachute packer, if in case he or she has to earn his or her living with from packing only, he should be able to do a pack job in, let's say, 15-20 minutes, even less.
Yes.
And eventually you get to that point wherein you take around 15 minutes for a pack job, because you become an expert. But to reach there, you have to put in that hard work, and it is very tiring. It is not easy. That's one of the big myths. Packing, you see a packer, he's packing in 15 minutes, you're like, oh, this seems easy. But once you get on to the mat and you get your hands into the pack job, it is tiring, very tiring, and very important part of the entire skydiving operation.
Indeed. And my next question is my favorite question. So, how to become a skydiving coach?
How to become a skydiving coach? Well, the prerequisites everybody is aware.
I know the answer, but then there are like every question varies. The first question is how to earn, and then they want to become an instructor. They don't want to become a coach. When the inquiries comes into my PM, they don't want to become a coach. They want to become an instructor. But at the same time, they want to become an instructor after a USPA-A license. So it goes crazy because people don't read, they don't do the research.
Yeah,
and then we have to help
yeah,
them out.
and I totally understand that. It's a fast-paced world in the today's environment. Everything is available on the internet on a click of a button. But just to clarify, this is important. In the skydiving, there are two verticals. One vertical is the licensing vertical, which starts from the A license 25 jumps, B license 50 jumps, C license 200 jumps, D license 500 jumps. So that's the licensing vertical. If in case you want to get into teaching part of skydiving, that's a separate vertical altogether. You know, so two different verticals, one for licensing, second for teaching. In the teaching vertical, the first instructional rating and the mandatory instructional rating is the coach rating. So without you getting a coach rating, you can't appear for an instructor rating. You have to be a coach to be an instructor. That is a prerequisite, mandatory requirement. So, and the major difference between a coach and an instructor is that a coach cannot physically touch a student. He can teach a student with arm action, he can be with the student, jump with the student, but he can't physically hold the student. That's the major difference. With an instructor who can obviously, who obviously holds the students and goes along, an AFM instructor, so as to say, or a tandem instructor who holds the student with the harness in front of him. So that's the major difference. Obviously, coach, and that's why a coach doesn't teach you, skills which are mandatorily required in skydiving. He teaches you skills which are required to pass the A license, but he won't teach you rolls or uneven exits or unstable exits, and he or she, the coach, will be teaching you tracking. He will be teaching you levels. He will be jumping along with you, but not touching you, not physically holding you. He will be guiding you. The coach, he or she will be assisting an instructor, but he independently can't do instructional duties. So point being, it's a step, it's a progression, and it happens slowly. It doesn't happen overnight. You can become a coach after you have the requisite number of jumps, you have the requisite skills, you pass the coach rating examination, and then you wait, then do some coaching. You help instructors, you help students to achieve the aims, you help students in F and G category in the integrated ISP, integrated students program in the USPA. And once you think you are ready, then you appear for the instructional rating. And obviously you build on to the number of jumps, you build on to the skill, you build on to your experience. And then after you have got 500 jumps, you will become eligible to appear for the instructor rating. I'm talking about the AFM instructor or a tandem instructor.
I have seen I have been to 5 Dropzones and I've seen coaches with 3,000 jumps and they still don't have instructor ratings. So it's just amazing the way you have worked out, you have got everything. Just wonderful. And next question, I wanted to discuss about salary of skydiving coach, but I don't think that's a appropriate question. And if you want to answer, we can discuss it, but I would like to skip that question. I don't want to discuss salary of a skydiving coach. Because people will then start thinking that after 100 jumps, they'll get their skydiving coach rating and they'll start earning something. But it doesn't work out like that at all.
Firstly, thank you, for the appreciation. As far as the salary of a coach, okay, let's just delink the salary from the rating part of it. We have to rethink and relink that salary is majorly related to skill, and skill and gives you a rating. So first part, first main criteria for an individual who's wanting to become a coach or instructor is getting the skill, not getting the rating. Rating will follow. If in case you have the skill, rating will come. Nobody can stop your rating if in case you have the skill. But if in case you don't have the skill and you keep on trying, you keep on paying for a rating course, because these courses are also very very costly, you might not be ready for that rating. You might just be trying off the shelf ki, let me just go and give it a shot. But getting onto that level, that skill requires requisite number of experience. Somebody gets it in 1,000 jumps, somebody gets it in 1,500 jumps, somebody gets it in 2,000 jumps. Everybody's learning graph is different, and rightly so. We are all humans, right? So everybody can't be same. We are not robots. So having said that, because the learning curve is different, our skill level and absorption of that skill is very very different. And so is the currency. For Indians, you go after 3 4 5 6 months, you do 20 jumps, 30 jumps, 40 jumps, and then you come back, and then there's a gap. There's no currency. So the learning curve is a little slow. That's why. Vis-a-vis an individual who's living in on near a drop zone and he's jumping every weekend, he's doing 10 jumps every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday included, 10 15 jumps, he will have more currency, he will have better skill level, he will reach that goal early.
Right.
But doesn't mean that you can't reach that goal. I am a live example. You can easily reach that goal. Again, you have to be on it always and keep thinking about it, and keep doing the right thing, get the right kind of knowledge, and put your efforts and your time and money in the right places at the right time, basically. Your guidance has to be perfect, probably. You don't end up wasting time in running after a rating. That's what my point is. Build the skill and rating will come. And as far as the money part of it is concerned, if in case you are a decently good coach and you are doing coach jumps, you still might not be earning a lot. You might be getting, let's say, the jump slot, which is the jump with the student, might be on the student, which is basically he or she might be paying for your jump ticket. And over and above that, you might be getting, let's say, 10 15 20 30 $40, and that not be per jump. That may be for the entire session, maybe full day or 2 days of coaching. You might be getting $50 for the full coaching part of it. You might not be getting anything at all, depending how you have figured out your kind of setting with that individual whom you're coaching.
Yes. Right.
So it depends. Again, if in case you are a very very good coach and you do camera work as well, you still might be getting paid for the camera part of it. If in case you are a coach and not doing camera, only doing coaching, because you are also building experience in that process, so you might be getting a free jump for that coaching.
And that's all.
Yeah. And I personally, had I been, if in case you ask me, being a new coach, had I got a fresh coach just out of one of the drop zones with a coach rating, I will be really really happy to get a free jump coaching somebody. I might not be running after the money कि इसके ऊपर मुझे अच्छा पैसे भी मिल जाए. That might not happen, frankly speaking. Let's be very very realistic. That might not happen.
Even like I know it doesn't happen, but like as you said, people will believe you now that you have said it. It doesn't happen at all, and because I know after 100 jumps, what a skill level will have. I mean, there are people who wouldn't do like 100 hours of wind tunnel and then they start skydiving, so that they have different kind of experience altogether. That's a different story. But we'll be just a beginner. We'll be starting after
Correct.
100 jumps. We'll get a coach rating. We'll be just happy to have a free slot, I'll say.
Correct. Totally. Yeah.
And that's all. Okay. So next question, another most interesting question: how to become a skydiving instructor? So I know there are options like AFF, IIT, and then static line, and those I guess three are. I know those three are different ratings. So which one you would recommend to get first, and what kind of experience do we need. I won't talk about number of jumps because it varies. Okay, but let's say minimum number of jumps you need this much, and then after you need a certain level of skill set. So
Well, as I said earlier, AFF instructor is the most difficult to get, but is the most satisfying also to get. Because without an AFF instructor, you can't teach skydiving. You can teach skydiving in the other instructional methods or instructional ratings also. Just to tell the audience the difference, static line is kind of a jump wherein a static line is attached to a part in the aircraft, usually a steel wire. You jump out and the parachute opens on its own. So there's hardly any free fall. There's a 1 second of free fall, not even 1 second actually. So that's static line way of progression. Not many drop zones in the world. Some militaries in the world, follow that method. As far as skydiving training is concerned, not many drop zones in the world. Probably, I think 1 or 2 drop zones in the world follow that method of progression. So, because not many drop zones are following that method, there's no point doing a static line rating, instructional rating course because you might not be able to use it.
yes,
Secondly, second one is the instructor assisted deployment, the IAD instructor. So IAD stands for instructor assisted deployment, wherein you have the pilot chute of the student in your hand. While he or she jumps, you drop the pilot chute on above him, and he gets a free fall for, let's say, 2 more seconds. This progression method also is not very popular in today's world, not being followed. The most popular method is the first jump being the tandem jump with the tandem instructor, and subsequently you get into the AFF method because that's the fastest, and the learning curve is the fastest in this method, fastest to A license. Yeah, so coming on to next rating, which is the AFF rating, the most popular rating in the world. Everybody's following it. It's the best rating, the best instructional way of teaching a student. The progression is comparatively very fast. Initially, 2 instructors jump with the student, and subsequently, after 2, 3, 4 jumps, 1 instructor jumps with the student, and after around 7, 8, after around 9, 10 jumps, the individual becomes solo jumper, and then he or she has to build up to 25 jumps. Each jump has a separate requirement wherein you are supposed to do X, Y, Z during the free fall and then during the canopy flying. And then you do 25 jumps, you give an A license, and then you get the A license. You give the A license exam. One part is the written exam, second is the in-ear exam, and then you get the A license. So point being, the AFF rating being the most difficult is the most utilized, and that's why my recommendation is one should aim at the AFF instructor rating and build your skills towards that rating only. Akin to that, next to that is the tandem rating, also comparatively easier than AFF instructor rating, but more taxing on the body because you're carrying a passenger, physically carrying the passenger in front of you. So your canopy skills have to be very good, and that's why AFF rating, AFF-I and Tandem-I rating require minimum 500 jumps, and that doesn't assure you will get the rating. People usually try to appear for the rating after 1,000+ jumps. If in case they feel that they are ready, people usually go and give the AFF instructor examination, the course and the examination after around 1,000-1,200 jumps. That's the normal way of going about it. To sum it up, you have to choose what you want to do. If in case you want have become a skydiver, first 200 jumps, I personally feel that you should not even think what you're doing. Just keep on doing belly. After 200 jumps, you have adequate experience of choosing. You want to get into only belly. You want to get into free flying. You want to get into wingsuit flying. You have an option of getting into base jumping. So there are options available after 200 jumps. But for the first 200 jumps, just close your mind and just jump and say what your instructor or your your coach is telling you to do.
Amazing, sir. So, can you tell me what is the average salary for a skydiving instructor? I know it's against the same question, but yes, this part we really want to discuss.
It is again in foreign drop zones. It is per jump basis usually per jump basis, and a tandem instructor and an AFF instructor more or less earn the same per jump. Ranges from around $40 to around 60-70 dollars. So the range is around 40 to around $70, depending on how busy the drop zone is, how big the drop zone is, how small the drop zone is. But that is the range, and depends on a lot of other things also. Your experience level, are you jumping as a tandem instructor? Are you jumping with camera, without camera? And your expertise level, and then again it again sums up to how many jumps you're doing per day, how many jumps you're capable of doing per day. If in case you're wanting to do, let's say, only 5 jumps a day or 3 jumps a day as an instructor, you might end up getting $150 a day. Multiply it with, let's say, 25 days, because 5 days you will take 1 day off, weather might not be very conducive 1 2 days. So on an average, 25 days into number of jumps you do into $50 on an average. So that's the salary. That's the mota salary you'll be getting, you'll be earning. And then again, I always want to put that into context. And these prices are US prices. So the cost of living in US is totally different from what you have in India. The per capita income in US is totally different what is there in India. So if in case you convert those $50 into Indian rupees, let's say it's 4,000 rupees in today's market, or let's say 4,100 rupees, you might not be getting 4,100 rupees for a jump in India, because that's the US rate. You are earning in US and you are living there. You are spending in US dollars. It can't happen you are in India calculating on US dollar rates and spending in Indian rupees in India. So the parlance has to be there somewhere. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir. I hope everyone understands that.
Yeah. So if in case in the US you are doing 5 jumps and you're getting $50 per jump, so you earning $250 in one day. In India, you might not be earning $250, which is almost equivalent to 16 and 4, around 20,000 rupees a day. For sure, you would not be earning 20,000 rupees a day in 5 jumps. So because the per capita income, the cost of living is totally different. So as far as the Indian operation is concerned, I personally haven't come across many instructors who are doing instructional duties in India, but it's not the same as the US. And obviously, the number of the job availability for a skydiving instructor in India is limited, because there's hardly any AFF happening as of right now, because there's hardly any AFF instructors who's jumping in India. You have some tandems going on.
I mean, we have a Sky High India.
Yeah, and that is also majorly a tandem drop zone. Eventually, if in case they get into the training mode, they become a training drop zone. I'll be more than happy. But then that time the industry standards will be set as far as the Indian Indian instructional cost is concerned, because a lot of factors go into the entire costing of a jump, be it a tandem, be it a AFF jump. A lot of factors go into it. Cost of the fuel, cost of the aircraft, maintenance, drop zone. You want to earn some profits, and everything is clubbed together, and then you get the final figure. And in that final figure, you will somewhere have the fee of the cost of the instructor also added. So hopefully once training starts to happen, I'm talking about skydiving training starts to happen in India, we'll be in a better place to answer that question in the Indian context. But in the foreign context, as I just told you, on an average around $40-50 a jump.
परफेक्ट सर, तो फाइनली एक आंसर है हमारे पास जो मैं सबको बता सकती हूँ। बट नेक्स्ट मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि अगर आपको किसी को एडवाइस देनी हो जिससे ये फील्ड में आना है, उसके लिए आपके पास क्या एक एडवाइस होगी?
My advice, sincere advice to them would be, first have a stable source of income, so that you can fund your goal, and then build up the skill. After you have built up the skill and then you have got the ratings, then you have to get that instructional experience also. After getting an AFF rating, you are supposed to teach also. You can't go in the industry and say, okay, I have just got the rating yesterday, and today please give me a job for $60 a jump or $50 a jump. Nobody would agree. They would want an AFF instructor with, let's say, around 500 AFFs or 1000 AFFs already in the kitty, and then you can start to work on their drop zones, because skydiving is a serious business. Life is at stake. So they don't want anybody who's low on experience, who affects their reputation. In the end, yeah, because drop zones run on name, on reputation, especially in foreign, all foreign drop zones, they run on reputation. Skydive Dubai, Skydive Spain, US bigger drop zones, they all run on reputation. So they can't have an instructor who's inexperienced, without any adequate experience. They won't pay you. You can help them, you can grow as an instructor, you can help other senior instructors and experienced instructors, but then you don't expect immediate cash flow out of it. You'll have to put something in to get the output out of the entire skydiving journey, so as to say. So you'll have to put in that extra effort and put in that extra patience to start to earn, point being.
Definitely, sir. Drop zone has so many responsibilities. If any accident happens, they have to report it. They have to publish it on their website, and that information will be always available. So I guess that's one of the
Exactly.
reason that they only hire adequate instructors.
And it's totally human. If in case you are paying, let's say, as an individual who's not even heard of skydiving, you decide to go for a tandem jump. You pay some money, $200-300 for a tandem jump. You would expect those answers from a drop zone, right? You are signing a waiver for your life. You would expect those basic answers from a drop zone, wherein you ask them, okay, have you had any accidents or incidents in the past? Okay, when was the last accident, and what was it? Was it a fatal accident? Was it non-fatal? What was the issue? Who was responsible? Was the drop zone responsible? Was the instructor not that experienced? Was it the student's fault? And stuff like that. And everything is available on the internet, point being. There are in all foreign drop zones, any accident or incident happening, there's an incident report which is filed, and USPA publishes that report, and it's all over the news. So point being that reputation is of great value to a drop zone, because if in case the reputation goes down, the business goes down, and to get that business back, it will take at least minimum one season, which means one full year. And some smaller drop zone may not be able to afford that loss.
My most of questions are answered, and I know that all the Instagram followers, those who wants to do skydiving, those who are considering it as a skydiving career, they'll just love this interview. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for taking out your time, and let's hope like we have more skydivers in the new year.
Oh, I'm more than happy to help. I'm more than happy to help. The idea is to help people spread the sport, give the positives of the sport, and give the realities of the sport at the same time. Don't give any false hopes two individuals. But then again, as I say, the sport is a beautiful one. You meet some amazing people, and you grow as an individual in the sport. You know, from an individual who had an A license to individual who is now capable of giving A licenses. I think as an individual, I have also grown in the last 10 odd years. You know, so that is the beauty of the sport.
I hope you love this video. If you have any doubts, the comment section is just for you. So don't forget to comment your queries, and I'll make sure that me or Mayank sir answer all your questions. Okay, and if you really like this video, please guys subscribe, and don't forget to share this video with your skydiving enthusiastic friends. Bye.